Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Alton Board of Selectmen's meeting for July 28, 2026. It is now 6 o'clock. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, any changes in the agenda this evening?
No, there's just a typo on the minutes, that one of the July 14th, 2026 is public session, and the other one is non-public.
Okay.
They're both listed as non-public.
Okay. Okay, agenda approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as edited.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The public participation policy applies to all selectmen meetings. A copy of it is in the back of each agenda, posted outside this meeting room and on our website. Public input for 3 minutes on the agenda items only. Anyone? State your name.
Anthony Burns. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry,
So-
sir, could you state your name one more time?
Anthony Burns,
Burns?
B-U-R-N-S.
Thank you.
So there's really one item on the agenda as I see it, and that's the placement of the vessel rack on Blueberry Lane, the access to Hills Pond, and I've been asked to ask a couple of questions. The first question is, who is responsible for policing that area? You're clearly inviting more people to use that access by putting a rack up there. Will there be any set limitation on how many vessels can be put on that strip of land? And if so, who would police that?
Okay, we'll be discussing this,
Okay,
so
all right.
we'll be covering.
Secondly is, who will be maintaining the property as far as trash and so forth? Some of the abutters have complained already about trash in that area. And then the third one is, so there appears to be already erosion from that new construction area. The drainage ditch that was put in has completely washed away, and some of the rock and material that was placed there to keep erosion down is already washed into the pond, and that ditch line is already very much exposed. So there were several dams that were set up to abate the flow. Those have already long washed out, and material is washing into the pond. And so we were wondering if there would be something done with that to relieve the erosion into the pond. So all of that, I guess, has to do with the use of that property.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm John Gillius. I'm the abutter, one of the abutters to Blueberry Lane at the waterfront. Laurie and Brian can't be here. They wanted to. They're the other abutter. And we're dead set against this recreation vehicle rack. And I'm kind of a little bit surprised, so I'll read a little bit. Excuse me?
Go ahead.
I'll read a little bit about what I thought was done. I thought the town and I had an agreement signed in October of 2025. I started this in 2019, and for 6 years I've been working on getting Blueberry Lane repaired, the stream rerouted, the removal of the junk, and the boats kept off the right-of-way. Now the town wants to revisit this agreement by allowing a boat rack. If so, I'd like the town to stop the water that I agreed, part of this, to be funneled onto my property from Blueberry Lane. That was one of the agreements. There's a whole list of agreements that we did for this. The last thing that happened was, there were 2 boats down there that didn't get removed. I called the town administrator, who called the chief of police, and they were removed the next day. Ever since then, I went down this March, cleaned the rest of the junk that was down there and brought it to the dump. Paid for the bad TV, got rid of the battery that was there, and some chairs that were there, and everything got cleaned up. Now, I'm finding out that people want to put a recreation vehicle. For what purpose? Why? I thought it was fine the way we had set it up. You bring your boat down, you drop it off, you take your trailer, take it home, have your wife drive you home, go enjoy the pond, come on back, pick your trailer, pick your boat up and leave. So now I'm getting very concerned that the agreement that we signed is not being addressed properly. It's like we're going around by putting this boat rack there.
All right, well, thank you for your input. It's 3 minutes, so we will be discussing this. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll close the public input. Oh, sorry, come on up. I did not see you.
My name's Dave Collins. I live on Blueberry Lane. I go fishing, I have a boat, I go down with the new rules and with the new road and everything. I take my boat down, I bring my truck back, then I go down fish. I know Laurie and Brian, and I asked them, they allowed me to put my boat on their property and not the road. But finding out about this recreational rack, I don't like it at all. And where are these people gonna park? And there's some people coming from 2, 3, 4 streets away. They're not gonna park in my driveway, they're not gonna park in Laurie's and Brian's, and certainly not gonna park in John's. If this happens, we call the police, they'll take care of it? Is that what's gonna happen?
Again, we'll be discussing it when we see the presentation.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm totally against it anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public input, and we'll go right into the appointment, which was the Blueberry Lane temporary placement of recreational vessel rack. Okay, come on up.
Good evening, gentlemen. So,
Just state your name.
Agnata Shakalita. I do not know if you guys have the presentation in front of you.
We do.
Very good. So I'll,
Pull that up just a little closer.
okay.
There you go. Or pull it down to you.
So I heard a lot of concerns here in regards to parking and trash, and hopefully the presentation that I'll go over will address and make it a little bit more clear for people what it is actually that is, with a couple community people are trying to do there. So as you know, the Blueberry Lane is kind of at the end of Alton Shores. It was improved by the town last year to divert the water. There's several people in the neighborhood on Alton Shores that are using it to access Hills Pond and to go kayaking or fishing or using small recreational vehicles. I don't know what they're called. Small boats, paddle boats, things like that. Now, let me go over this. What we're trying to do is, as some people have stated, that there are some of these paddle boards or whatever that get left on the shoreline. We're trying to organize it so it does not obstruct the right-of-way and still allows access. And we're not talking about big rack. We're talking about 6 to 12 maximum kayaks or paddle boards for people to put up, so it would not be laying on the shoreline. Now, the people who will be accessing it, they're the same people who already live in the neighborhood, and they're walking there. So now most of them are dragging them up and down the hill. There is older people who are still active, and it is harder for them to do it. The whole purpose and the town, when they used the funds, was to promote recreational use and outdoor space. So I feel like that is kind of in line with the whole overall commitment the town has made. The rack would be financed by us, put up by us. This is not a permanent rack. This is a temporary rack that would be put up in the beginning of season and taken down by the volunteers. We would put up a sign stating the rules. You know, you can put your kayak. It's for active use people, and it's not for storage. We would have somebody go out once a week at least. There's always people going down there anyway who are using it, to kind of monitor, to make sure it's neat. In regards to parking, there is no parking there. Nobody comes there with cars and parks and goes paddle boarding. Most people are coming from the area over there. So I don't see an issue in terms of parking. That we're not asking to put in extra parking or to allow parking. So the same rules would stay in effect for parking. I don't know if you have any questions or some other additional concerns, but that's about it. I just want to make sure that people understand that it's not for giant boats or for huge recreational racks. We're talking, 6 to 8 kayaks that people can use and access Hills Pond, and they don't have to drag and destroy what you guys spend money on putting in.
Are you saying that there's been a lot of boats left or kayaks or canoes left in
There
the
have
area?
been, and as the gentleman noted, that he has called somebody before to pick it up, or he removed himself. So there have been instances that people have left it because then they come back. And the purpose that they leave it is basically it's too hard for them to keep dragging it up and down. And they're coming down every day to kayak. So by providing this small rack, they will have, keep the shoreline kind of clean, not obstruct the right of way, because sometimes they'll just leave it wherever they leave it. But they'll have a place to put it and still use their kayak.
How do you envision enforcing this? I read the presentation is very thorough, and it suggests anyhow that there'll be names and addresses on the kayaks. Will somebody undertake to call someone and say, hey, your kayak's been here for 2 months and you need to get it out of here?
So yeah, basically it's people in the neighborhood. Since we have the regular people who are going already there, we're gonna keep an eye on it. And this is the permission that we're asking is not permanent. This is something that can be revoked if the town sees or gets complaints or more than usual, let's say, because I heard the concerns about trash. That was there and it's gonna be there. We will be going there now if we are more aware of it, picking up more. So maybe we'll actually clean up a little bit. It's community enforced type of thing. So I'm not saying that there's gonna be a checklist that we're gonna send every week that, oh yes, we did, and there's a rack here for 2 months that nobody has used, or kayak, nobody has used, but we are all keeping an eye and taking care of our community ourselves.
Are you at all familiar with this agreement that had been in place with the town?
No,
No, I'm not either, but
No.
we got to look into that.
yes.
I have general question. What is the width of this right-of-way?
40, oh, the width, I believe it's about 40 feet?
40?
40 feet, yeah.
Just saying 40.
That's what I thought it was.
Right. Your diagram seems a
It's
little
not,
out of scale.
maybe it's not to scale, maybe it's not to scale.
And I get concerned you've included photographs of kayak racks, indicating there's one of them here that appears to be a double-sided rack that must hold 10 kayaks, I'm guessing. And you're talking about 12 kayaks, up to 12 kayaks.
Yes,
Or vessels. It seems to me that's a lot of real estate that's going to take up.
I understand. So actually what it is, if I can interrupt you for a second, when I made that presentation after I went and measured it, and actually looked at the sizes of kayak racks, because in my mind I was thinking, oh, there's plenty more space. It's definitely not gonna be a double-sided one. It's gonna definitely have to be one of those single-sided kayak racks, and it's definitely not gonna be 12. So the way when I looked at it, it's 2 4-level ones or 2 3-level ones that would fit there.
Okay. And it's not just the size of the rack. Obviously, it's the length of the kayak as well, or
Yeah, correct,
canoe, or
correct,
whatever may be
correct,
stored on that.
correct.
So when you go end for end, you could be talking well over 40 feet.
Yes, but we're not placing on the right away this way. We're placing it along it.
Right.
So there is room there.
Where are you in reference to Blueberry Lane?
I'm on Alton Shores Road.
You're on Alton Shores.
Yes. And there is several people who are on Frohawk, some on Alton, some on Larry, some on... So it's all local people who are basically walking down there themselves.
How many people in the association are you speaking for? How many are part of this group?
So right now about 12 people are that we kind of talked between ourselves that said this would be nice to have in the neighborhood of owners, but we haven't posted it anywhere just because we know that it's going to be a limited amount of racks available, and we don't want to make it seem that it's going to be this huge thing that now everybody can go and put their kayaks on.
Do you have any idea how many residents have access to that area?
Every resident has access
Or
to
how
that.
many homes in there? Because it's only homes within the association, correct?
Within us,
To the town of Alton.
it's public access, so it's not associations. It's open to the town. It's a public access road.
I know that, speaking for myself, I'd love to see a copy of this agreement that's in place. That sounds like it has a number of restrictions. I also think that this is opening up a can of worms on a public right-of-way. The use of that land is supposed to be for all, and I think when you start putting racks up and your friends load them with their kayaks, it's not really a use for all in the town of Alton. So that's my...
And I still think there may be a parking issue. Once people realize they can leave their kayak there and just take off, and then they'll come down, right, and start, instead of walking, maybe drive, or attract other people. Not that, I think it could be problematic
Right.
down the road.
These are all valid concerns, and in terms of it is open to other people, so it's not the racks are not gonna get filled up. So if there's somebody from town of Alton that wants them to put up their kayak and figure out the parking situation, if they have a friend that lives up there and parks in their driveway, but in reality, I don't think most people from town of Alton will be coming. So I want to be obviously honest and upfront that it's mostly going to be for people who are in that area, which are residents of Alton, and they still contribute to the town.
You said there was roughly 12 people that were
Right- right
in-
now-
involved with what you're trying to
Correct.
do here.
Correct.
And you would be responsible for assembling, purchasing, removing it, maintaining it?
Correct.
Is that what you were saying?
Correct. So, and these are the people in the neighborhood locals.
Is that right now a formal organization or
No,
informal?
no, this is
Just a group of
this is
people?
informal. It's just something that we were going down there, seeing an issue, and said, okay, maybe we can put a rack, organize it, keep the shoreline clean. We're coming down here anyway. Maybe other people want to do it. What can we do? And we said, okay, let's try it and ask. Maybe we can somehow improve for the whole community.
I think we should look into the agreement that was originally drawn and written. We'd like to look at that and
Okay, thank you.
Look at what we're dealing with
and
down there.
actually take a ride over there and take a look at the
Yeah.
conditions
Yes.
of what it looks like now, being 40 feet wide, and if there is any erosion going on right now, if something needs to be looked at. So we have a few factors to look into.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay? Thank you very much for your presentation.
Yes.
Okay, new business. Boston Post Kane nomination.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we received this nomination for the Boston Cane Award for your review this evening. I think that there's a standard application form, but also there's a typed letter from the nominee.
Yes. And Ms. Smith has been here for over 20 years.
Yes, sir.
For over 20 years. That's one of the requirements for the Post Cane.
Yes.
And she's been residing at the Christian Conference Center?
Yes, the physical address is 91 Mount Major Highway.
How long has this been a fact of life, Brian? I never heard of it before.
The
Many
Boston
years.
Cane, many years.
Many,
It's-
many years.
It goes through, lulls with nominations. So.
Yeah, we haven't had a
We haven't
nomination
had one in a
since
while.
2017.
Oh,
Was the
really?
last
Okay.
nomination, I think.
Well, it certainly is, I don't see any downside.
No.
No, I certainly don't either.
I would suggest we put a date on the policy, if that's the formal policy.
It's a great point.
Just so, somebody gets excited, but I think,
There might be a second page to submission.
I'm sorry, say again?
There might be a second page to that policy.
Yeah,
yeah, there could be.
there
yeah,
could be.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
No, you don't think so? Okay.
The effective date of the policy is 11. Okay, so, I would make a motion to, just accept the nomination for, Corinne Greeley-Smith for the Boston Post Kane nomination.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Police Department motorcycle loan payoff.
Good evening,
Good evening,
gentlemen.
Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Adam Painter with the Alton Police Department. Lieutenant Bill Tolias.
So tonight we've brought to you a proposal to pay off the police motorcycles. A little backstory on this. The lieutenant brought this to my attention pretty recently as we're due for our annual lease payment through Manchester Harley-Davidson, and had showed me the interest that we're paying on these. So just for a little backstory, we've got two 2018 Harley-Davidson police package motorcycles. Chief Heath had purchased those back in, I think, actually 2017. We were on an annual lease. Every year we'd get new ones, but the Manchester Harley-Davidson and I think Harley ended that program, so we couldn't participate in it, so we opted to buy the motorcycles back then through kind of a handshake deal through Manchester Harley-Davidson. They're very gracious to allow us to continue that with the payments. Right now, we've just been making payments, and currently we still owe $5,800. I'm sorry, currently we still owe $8,500 on each motorcycle for a total of $17,000. Right now with interest, we're just making a lump annual payment towards that, and we're essentially paying almost just under $1,000 of interest annually, and we still have several more years to go if we just stay with that plan. So just as the LT mentioned, there's, the motivation here is save town probably a few $1,000s over the next couple years to just pay them off out of the police detail revolving account, which currently has a balance of about $130,000 in it. So we thought it seemed like a logical idea. So that's what we're bringing to you.
So they got relatively low miles.
Yes, sir. The mileage on them is 5,800 and 4,200 respectively, and the bikes get used quite frequently. We have 6 motorcycle operators, police motorcycle operators. It's a specific qualification. We also have one of the top motorcycle instructors in the state. Sean Sullivan is one of the most renowned motorcycle police instructors in the state. So we have that. We use these for random patrols, special events. They're great for targeted speed enforcement because they're easy to hide, so to speak. They work out good for that. Good PR for the town. It's a good motivation tool for police officers that want to get out there and do something different, a different way to patrol on a bike. So it's a cool thing for the town to have these 2 bikes. Obviously, you don't want to lose them. And the replacement cost, the LT looked up that if we were to buy new, $33,000 a piece without all the police upfitting and all that stuff. So it just seemed fairly logical to just do this.
What would you say in the current condition, and their low mileage, and how long do you think they would be able to be used by the town of Alton?
Years.
How longevity do you think they would have if we just pay them off and hang on to them?
I don't see why we couldn't get another 10 years out of them or so at the rate we're going. The value on them, I think, was what, 10?
We looked it up. Yeah, I called Manchester Harley. Just the retail value of what they would approximate would be like $10,500 per bike. So we'd be buying them right in a sense.
That's retail, though.
That's retail.
Right.
Yeah.
But not upfitted. And we know the history of these things as well. So
I think it's safe to say we've got actually 2 of our guys do the maintenance on them ourselves, essentially, for real short money, just parts, some oil and things like that. So I think it's reasonable to say we get another 10 years out of them. I apologize, I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I think that's reasonable.
And not to mention that, what would it cost? It cost the town, I don't know what it would be at this point because it was in 2017, what it costs to dress them out.
Oh, upfitting is
for the equipment that you need.
a few thousand a piece.
yeah, thousands. I don't know, but it'd be thousands. I mean, we've done the police cars, and I mean that's
So
15,
we've
20,000, but it'd be thousands.
I would say that if they're, what'd you say, they're about 5,000, 6,000 miles on them?
Yes.
These bikes I've seen over 100,000, so if you take care of them,
Yeah,
they go for a ways.
they're babied.
Yeah.
But I mean, the math, might as well pay them off and save,
Yeah.
what do you say, there's another 2 or 3 years of.
Yeah, we've got several years, probably 4 or 5 years at
Oh,
this
left, so.
rate. Well,
Yeah.
probably 4.
Yeah,
So,
So
they're
save
charging
almost $4
yeah.
grand.
$4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah,
So.
good
No,
savings.
this is,
Has this payment gone on so long because it was a lease that turned into an agreed purchase price?
Yes, that's my understanding.
I think it's an in-house lease that they done. They basically disbanded that program. What I knew that they said it wasn't profitable, but they would kind of a handshake deal. They kept it going on. We've monitored the payoff balance, and as the chief said, it seems like from last year's to this year, they basically reduced the payoff balance by 2,000. So that $700 or so is the interest per bike, so it's about $1,500 annually that they're charging in fees.
No, we got them, I mean, looks
Yeah.
like there's plenty of money in that.
Yeah.
Might as well.
I was more just trying to understand, with the bikes being 2017, we've been paying on them for a while, so
Oh, yeah.
I was more shocked at how much it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So I'll be honest with you, I struggle with the need for a motorcycle, or two in this town. I can't wrap my head around that. But that being said, how much have we paid on this lease agreement to date per motorcycle?
My understanding, and Chief Heath may reference this, I believe we've paid the same dollar value, $2,700 per motorcycle, since the inception of this,
$2,700
A year?
annually.
Yeah.
For 13 years.
If I may, just shed a little bit of light on where this came about and how this program, Harley Davidson had a police lease program for many, many years. The lease program was very unique for police departments because you paid a flat fee of $2,700 and you got a brand new bike every year. So every year we got a brand new bike for $2,700. It was wonderful. What happened in 2017 into 18 is Manchester Harley got bought out by a whole new conglomerate. And when the new ownership came in, they no longer participated in the Harley Davidson level leasing program. They discontinued it. But many police departments in the state already had bikes, and we already had investments into outfitting them, radars, lighting, everything like that. So the new owners were trying to do a solid by all the police departments that had already had these bikes in possession. We no longer were going to be able to get new bikes every year from Harley, because those were coming from the manufacturer, not from the dealership. But instead, they turned the lease into basically a police lease where you own it at the end. And they converted that in-house at Manchester Harley. But hope that just kind of explained the uniqueness of the situation, is how things changed over in 17 to 18 was a change, a large buyout at that point in time.
Well, it seems like the numbers strongly suggest this is the right thing to do. Sounds like there's some pros and cons to how we got here, but here's where we are. We have the funds. We can save the taxpayers a good deal of money. The equipment is going to last for a considerable amount of time. So I would make a motion that we proceed with the motorcycle loan payoff in accordance with the chief's recommendations.
In the amount of?
Oh, you want that too? That doesn't make it sound so good then. And what is the amount? I can't find it.
$17,000.
$17,000, and the funding to come from the police detail revolving account.
There you go.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. Two opposed. Thank you. Okay. Chief, you can stay right there.
I think we're up next again.
Yes. Police Department detail rate increase.
Yes, sir. As you know, and for the public's edification, we do police details on a regular basis. We get several calls a week to do police details. Just leaving the PD tonight, we got one for the Meadowbrook or Bank of America, or I'm sorry, Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. Most of the police detail requests that we get, the major majority are for road type of details, whether that's a utility company, fiber company, road work, things like that. That's the majority of the police details that we work, but we do special events and things like that. But needless to say, at the end of the day, we get a few detail requests weekly, and it's not uncommon. Almost every day during the week, we have at least one, maybe two detail officers out there working, so it's fairly common. As you know, the police detail, or the way it's funded, these contractors contract us, they pay a fee, and the residual from that after the officer payout portion goes into our police detail revolving account, as you know, which is right now at current balance of $130,000, which is pretty healthy. So we did a little study, and why did we do the study? Some officers had come to the lieutenant and myself and asked about our current detail rate and if there was a chance it could be reevaluated just based on what's common in the state right now. So right now we're at $63, which is paid to the officer. We did a little research, and the average in the state, so that's all the police agencies in the state that reported at least, is right in the $70 per hour ballpark. The local agencies around us, it came out a little bit higher, just under 71. Guilford PD, for instance, is $75 an hour. If it's an alcohol type of event, like Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion, for instance, they get $80 an hour. New Durham is at 75. Wolfboro is at 63, which they're probably going to be going to their board here pretty soon on that, I would imagine. Gilmington's at 70, Laconia at 75, Barnstead at 70, the Sheriff's Department 65, and State Police at 72, and I heard they were going for an increase at this point right now. So there's three portions of the detail rate. You have the paid to the officer, which is 63 for us currently, and then you have two different other type of fees. One of them's a $21 cruiser fee. Most of the details, the major majority of them, they require a car with the police officer, especially on the side of the road, whereas working at the pavilion doesn't. It's just the police officer, so we don't charge the cruiser fee, obviously. And then there's an administrative fee of $21, and that's to cover just the process of coordinating the detail and all the other administrative functions that are associated with doing the detail. So currently we're at 105 total that's paid out by the vendor to us, and then the 63 the officer. So what we're proposing to bring us up to the average and sustain us for the next 2-3 years, however long that is to bring us up on par with Guilford, Laconia, New Durham, for instance, and bring us up to that 75 ballpark. So that's what we're proposing. And I'll be bluntly honest with you, I have not worked a detail in I think 15 years. Last one I worked was as a part-time guy. I'm not a detail guy. LT works one very rarely. We have some guys that work them, some guys that don't. I can tell you there's a lot of times we get a detail request and we just can't fill it. One, because obviously our patrol schedule has priority, so we'll farm it out to other agencies. We'll contact the local agencies and say, hey, we got details available. If anybody wants to work them, that's pretty common, that we can't fill all our details. But I think it's a reasonable request to get us up at least on par with everybody else and sustain, so we're not having this conversation every year.
Can you explain for the public a little bit how that works with when somebody has a detail versus their regular pay that goes with the town?
Yeah, sure.
Working for the town,
That's good,
how
yes.
that goes and how you separate.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. So in order to work a detail, you must have already completed your 40 for the week. You need to do your hours, obviously. So it's paid on top of that. So it's it's not like you can just bang out sick for a couple days, do 2 days on patrol and do a detail. That's obviously not kosher. They see it in their paychecks, but as far as the processing, it's the police officer would see it in their paychecks as detail line. Okay. But as far as processing it, obviously it's different. We invoice the vendor pays us back, and then a portion of it obviously goes into the revolving account, if that answers the question.
No, that answers the question good. I've got one more question in terms of that. The equipment, meaning the equipment being the vehicles. If we're using the vehicles for detail, how do we work that with, is that part of the administrative fee?
Yeah, no,
for the town?
Yeah, it's separate. So you got currently 63 to the officer, 21 for the cruiser fee. Okay. So as a separate, we charge 20, if they're using cruiser, which is usually the case, we charge the vendor $21 for the cruiser fee. And that's, the mileage, the wear and tear, because a lot of times, especially in the winter, even the summer, the car has to be running the whole time. We can't run the emergency equipment like the lights and turn the car off, the battery will die. So the car is on, so it's gas we're using, wear and tear on the vehicle, all that stuff. And then separately from that, it's that $21 administrative fee. And looking at the averages in the state, by the way, that's about on par. We're about where other agencies are charging for the cruiser rate and the administrative fee, so it's about average.
And those two rates are hourly, they're not?
Yes, sir. All these are hourly, yes. Yep, yeah, correct.
And
Yep.
how's that extra, if we go up to 75, is that getting distributed through those three?
I think in looking at it, the only rate that is doing this recent study, which was all the agencies in state and our local agencies around here, the rate that we're currently charging for the cruiser fee and the administrative fee is above average, actually. It's on par of where it probably should be, whereas the rate to the officer is on the lower end now. So that would be
So it all goes to the officer.
you
That
got
increase.
Yes, sir. Yes.
How do you cover the retirement and all of those other?
Again, a great question. LT was just talking about this a minute ago. So we only have 3 officers. We think, I think we only have 3 officers: Sergeant Glidden, Corporal Hunter, and K-9 Officer Johnson. That they, when they work a detail, there's a portion of their retirement needs to be worked into the calculation, where all the other police officers are in a different retirement band, and our part-time police officers, obviously that doesn't apply. So basically we have 3 officers. When those 3 officers working a detail, there's a portion of it that needs to be paid by that.
So, yeah, so I guess to simplify it just a little bit, so when that comes out of that administrative portion, 80 or 90% of us that are working them, you make more money, or more money goes into this revolving account when these 80 or 90% of officers are working them. There's still 3 or so officers that are in that older system where the town matches their retirement that gets passed on through this. So
It's based on vesting date with the New Hampshire retirements. I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you, there's different tiers in case the.
Right, but I guess what I was trying to get at is that if you're paying the officer X number of dollars, I want to make sure the town isn't having to come in and pitch in additional monies
That's.
Yeah,
was
great
one of my
for
question.
these private detail.
Sure,
You know,
absolutely.
Do you know if the retirement contribution is a significant amount? I have no idea.
I think we're at
30,
33.4.
It varies annually, but I think it's in the 30% range. Yeah.
But that comes from that revolving detail fund,
Yes.
which has grown enough to pay off the motorcycles and still be able to cover that.
It comes from that administrative fee, so no matter who works the detail, it's profitable for any officer.
Yeah.
It's more profitable for the newer guy, or the guys with less than 10 years on to work these
Yeah,
details.
at the end of the day, the town is not paying anything into it. It's just, we get, for those 3 officers, we don't make as much money as we do on all of our other officers, for instance, yeah. And it's really just another recruitment and motivational tool for the guys, looking at this as well and bringing us up to where we should be. We're in the process right now of hopefully trying to recruit a certified officer to cover the gap. It's just one more thing to give us a feather in our hat from that standpoint.
Can you, maybe I'm not doing the math right, but if just in round numbers, if we are paying the officer 70%, and then we need to pay 33%, we're estimating for retirement for certain individuals, doesn't that just wipe out the whole administrative chunk of money altogether?
Well, you basically have $42, if my math is correct here, and I'm not a math guy, so $42 for administration and cruiser combined. So 30% off that top number. Somebody with a calculator is going to have to figure that out instead of me, but I think it still works out in the positive.
33% of 75 is 25, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true, yeah.
there you go. There, okay, yeah, so there we go, yeah.
I was gonna say, be
Pub-
around-
Public school in
But
Concord
it's
for
only-
me, so, yeah.
It's only 30% of the officer's pay that comes out of the other.
Correct, yes, sir, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that could be a justifiable reason to move up the administrative fee to
Yeah,
that being the minimum.
We could certainly do that, look at moving up the administrative fee to 24, 26, something like that, if it's more palatable.
I suppose in the long run, you could make the argument that whatever the town charges, the citizens end up paying because, you know, their phone bill goes up or their electric bill goes up.
Yeah, understand, yes, sir.
But it seems like a reasonable thing to do. I have a couple of other questions. When the officers volunteer for this, is there an hour limit so you don't have some guy out there exhausted?
We have a 16-hour duty limit essentially in a 24-hour period, or, you know, unless it's an emergency, which happens occasionally, you know, no more than 16 hours in a day. So like an officer may work a 10-hour shift and maybe they're going to do a 4-hour detail before or after that. That wouldn't be unreasonable, but, you know, it's not like they can do a 10-hour shift and then an 8-hour detail is not going to, that's not going to fly.
And you have some means of assigning so that everybody gets an equitable chunk of?
The reality is, sir, it's more so the opposite instead of equity. It's trying to get people to jump on
people
them,
to do
you
it.
know. Yeah, we have a handful of guys that, you know, they're almost always up for doing a detail, but in some cases, we're actually a lot of cases, Sergeant Glidden handles the brunt of it, but we're calling other agencies to get them done. And I'll give you an exception to this. Like a town detail, like if Seth calls us up and says, hey, we need a truck on Main Street, obviously, we're just making that happen. That there's not a police officer making a detail rate for covering an Alton town truck, you know, so that we're just gonna make happen, obviously. It's just the normal hourly rate. So these are for private vendors.
Have
Do
you
we
had
have
more
any-
of a volume of calls for detail in recent months?
It comes in waves that really it's tough to, we did a study on it. I mean, this year we're tracking just as we've tracked the past couple years.
I guess it depends on when the tree companies and when.
Yeah, like we
power
were getting a ton
companies-
of the fiber details, all those fibers you see.
yes.
We're getting a ton of those kind of died out. So it's, we're kind of in a lull right now, actually, even though we, you know, got one today, but, you know, so.
And if our guys go to another town because they request the help, do they get paid that town's rate or
Nope.
our rate?
No, so that used to be kind of the case, but now it's our rate. So yeah, like if, for instance, if our guys go work the detail at the Speedway for the annual race, it's our detail rate, not theirs. It used to be that, though. You'd get paid whatever their rate was.
Is that covered door to door? Back, you know, you get coverage for travel time?
No.
No.
No,
Probably
no,
not.
yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. And I the optics of it, that's a lot of money. I mean, an hourly rate of that much that's a lot of money, and I won't downplay that whatsoever. I mean, that's excellent money for anybody. I will say that I can cite at least 2 police officers that I personally know that have been killed on details. Jesse Sherrill last year, trooper. So it's dangerous work. I know it sounds, and it is mundane. It's thankless work. The guys call it blood money. You know, they're sitting out there. It's not very exciting. They got the lights on, but they need to be aware. I mean, the most dangerous thing out there that we do in general is being on the road, on the side of the road with blue lights on, distracted drivers smashing into us, drunk drivers smashing into us. So I don't want to just, you know, it is. It sounds thankless, and it is sort of, but it's definitely dangerous work. And, you know, the main job with doing these details is to keep the workers safe. So you're literally providing a physical block with a cruiser with you in it of these guys out there. And a lot of times you have to be out of the car as well because you're waving a stop stick or something like that. So,
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, when I look through, you know, your sampling, state police, I don't think, no offense to Alton Police Department, but I think that's a different beast.
Yes, sir.
Belknap Sheriff was a lowball number again. I think that's a different beast altogether.
it is, definitely,
But
yeah.
it's interesting because there's kind of, you know, in the high and the low. So, you know, when you start to throw out your extremes, I think I came up with an average that was very close to actually your 70, 63. And I'm not sure, how often do we review these?
That's a great question. Last time it was reviewed was 2023. my intent here would be, we don't review it again for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that would be the intent of, on the, you know,
thought it
above
was only a
average,
few years ago,
above
yeah.
average side, yes. So rather than us coming to the table every year and talking about cents, just set a number that's respectable, that is a recruitment tool as well, and, you know, motivate the guys to do them.
And that rate of 75 in New Durham, do you think that worked well as a recruitment?
Well, it's work, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Some other issues to
Yeah,
contend
yeah.
with over there.
Yeah. They get a ton of details down there, surprisingly, yeah.
It just seems like such a big leap.
It is.
It is. It really is.
You know, what is it, 12%? On the total, you know, you're going from 105 to 117. Yeah, pretty big leap.
Do you think that jumping the rate up to 75 for that total of 117 will limit our calls for details?
No. Oh, you mean, will vendors be turned off by it?
Yeah. No.
Absolutely
Will we do
not.
less
No.
details as a
For-
result?
You know,
No matter what.
yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Well, do we
They
have
don't
any?
shop around.
Yeah, I mean, do they, there's obviously, there's private, you know, companies out there that
Yeah,
do it.
there are
Do we know what their rates are?
Yes, sir, there are flagging companies that can be contracting. I don't know what their rates are, but yeah, they can contract private flaggers to do things like that.
I do see quite a few of
Yeah.
them.
It's not uncommon for us to shut details, or shut vendors down without a detail. They're on a, you know, 28A on a corner, and like, what are you guys doing? We got to shut them down. So that happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I can tell you
I
that.
know exactly where you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, out there on East Side Drive too, I happened to have a run-in with a private flagging guy who was sitting in his truck and
It
just
does-
oblivious.
Yeah, it doesn't give the same effect, obviously, that a police car with blue lights. People actually slow down for that. And, you know, we can do enforcement on it as well if somebody burns through one of them, so, you know,
Instead of the occasional flagger with the flag out the window.
yeah.
While he's sitting there.
You I'm okay with going with 75?
I was just gonna state that most of these contracts, like the fiber contracts, I know for a fact that they require the vendors, they can use flaggers, but they're still required to have at least one marked police car with lights on. So a lot of times you'll see them in tandem, but that becomes a requirement of the contracts. A lot of them are grants, a lot of them are different stuff like that. But it's become a standardized safety tool. I know DOT retires it a lot too, if contractors work on a DOT road.
Gentlemen, something for you to consider, not in here, LT just got my ear with a great point, as you mentioned, sir, is if you wanted to consider bumping the admin fee up as
I
well.
was gonna say, I wouldn't mind
Maybe-
seeing that go to $24.
Yeah, 24, 26 to not only cover those three individuals that we talked about, but just give us a little more cushion on that as well.
Yeah, I
Could do
wouldn't-
that.
Bump it to 24, makes it an even $120
There we go.
total cost, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going for. But that's what I think, I don't know.
It seems, and that's still well within the scope of reasonableness for what we're seeing on the, you know, the averages out there.
I mean,
And
it sounds
do you
like
have
this
a
is-
minimum? I'm sorry. Is there a 4-hour minimum?
Yes, sir.
or-
Yeah. And that's not uncommon. I tell you what, it's frustrating for the guys, especially if they're coming out of detail and the day's off. They get all suited up, they get a car, they get out there, and they're waiting for an hour in a parking lot, and nobody shows up, and they call the PD an hour later, oh, we canceled. So that's pretty common. Yeah, so we do a 4-hour minimum.
Good.
But it sounds like it's a benefit to the police department, to the town, and it doesn't come out of taxpayers' pockets.
Yep, I agree.
So I'm in favor of it.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Alton Police Department detail rate increase. Are we staying at the 105? I mean, at the 75 rate, or are we changing the admin?
I would change the admin.
Change the admin to, yeah.
Okay, so to increase the detail rate to $75 for the officer and $24 for the admin fee,
And 21 for the cruiser.
21 for the cruiser.
and $21 for the cruiser fee.
Second.
Who's second?
Richard?
Richard? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
You're
you.
up again. You got one more. You got
Yes, you do have another one. Stay right there.
Sounds good.
Getting them all done in a row.
Might as well, knock them out.
For the motorcycle payoff. There was two, was it two or was it one?
I thought it was just
All right.
It's just me.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, moving into old business, Police Department, New Hampshire Safety Grant, 2027, MS-535.
So, I believe this is old business because it's updated every year. So the lieutenant spearheads this every year.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The second one, MS-535, is the second item. It's not connected with this one, so.
Gotcha.
The Police Department, New Hampshire Safety Grant, 2027. Sorry.
No problem. We get money, grant money every year. That's what we're here for tonight, to renew that. But historically, over the years, we've gotten grant money from the state to do specific highway enforcement events. And we say highway, we're talking, Route 11, Route 28, in both directions. So the main drags, essentially, through town, to do targeted enforcement. These targeted patrols are DWI patrols is a big one. Speed patrols, buckle up patrols for the under 18 crowd. So we'll do buckle up patrols like outside of the school zones for that, and also hands-free. So hands-free directed patrols. So we get specific money, the agencies in the state. There's grants available that we've been taking advantage of for a number of years to work these programs. The way it works with the officer is it has to be on overtime, so they have to must have already finished their 40 hours a week in order to work a grant patrol. The grant patrols, there's some discretion on our part of when we do them. The state also pushes out guidance on when they want them done. Like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, they want DWI patrols out there. There are some targeted nights like New Year's, the day before Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day. There's all hands statewide targeted enforcement events that these fund for things like that. And then some of them we have discretion on, like speeds, like the LT will put out speed grants for commuting mornings, Monday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., something like that. And we'll somewhat direct the areas we want patrolled for these events. But we essentially get money for this highway safety grant. We've been taking advantage of it for a number of years. The grant amount this year is the same as it's been, I think, for a number of years, which is $10,500 for us to take advantage of. And that would allow us to continue to work these grant patrols. They're very stringent on the paperwork side, which the LT handles, as far as the officer has to do. It's accountable. So if an officer works one of these grant patrols, they have to log on a sheet the number of stops they made, the number of arrests that were made out of that, citations that were out of that, a number of miscellaneous offenses. Even though they were looking for DWIs, they got speeders or things like that. So it's very structured, and they have to submit that to lieutenant. Lieutenant has to compile data sheets and give it to the state in order to stay on top of being a participant in these grant type of opportunities. So this year's is no different, $10,500. They have some specific language they want the motion to read. If you saw that
Yes,
language
we see
there.
it,
They're very specific on how they want that done and the form that goes along with it. So pretty straightforward. I don't know how many years we've been doing it. Chief, maybe you can elaborate on that. We've been doing this for a long time.
Do you know when the last one was?
We did one last year.
It was last year,
Yeah,
wasn't
we've
it?
done one every year.
Every year.
Yeah, so this one will cover the rest of 26 and the 27.
This is 27.
And we'll probably be coming to you next year for the same thing.
Okay.
It's been
I thought it was.
probably close to 20 years.
Yeah, so they're pretty common. I don't know of an agency that doesn't
Yeah.
jump on board with these, so.
Any other questions?
No, I can't help, and I think I mentioned this last year, only in government could we have a 25-page package.
Sorry to spam you with that. They sent all that, so I figured, you'd rather have it than not need
Yeah.
it type of thing. They do send a lot of paperwork along with it, a lot of fine print, but I don't see any strings attached to the deal. It works out great for us. It gives, yet again, another opportunity for officers to work some overtime that's funded by the state. And awesome tool out there too, because it's targeted enforcement. I can tell you, it's one thing to be on patrol on a Friday night when Meadowbrook's clearing out with 3,000 cars coming through town. It's another thing, you are literally just out there looking for DWI signs and targeting that type of activity, and it's very, you get a lot out of it, and we're pulling people off the road that shouldn't be on the road.
Is there any repercussions to the grant monies being granted if paperwork is incorrectly?
I believe there's
administered?
ramifications.
Can they,
Yeah,
if an officer leaves out some of the detail, do they?
They do their reimbursements quarterly, so I submit a package. I
Okay.
mean, I think my job we haven't had that issue, but I mean, there's a review process before that submission, so we haven't had that.
Make sure it doesn't happen.
Or exactly. The only thing to add is the limited obligation on our side. There's a 25% soft match, and we use that same detail rate, that $21 an hour detail rate, to cover that soft match. So that's the town's obligation. Is we're claiming that the wear and tear on the car is our contribution.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll make a motion then to accept the terms of the highway safety grant as presented in the amount of $10,500.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If town administrator's gonna sign on it, I know that there's that extra line on it.
Extra on top.
There-
Oh, yes, yeah, I'll also add that the Board of Selectmen give permission to the town administrator to sign for the highway safety grant.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Can finally go home now.
Okay, now, old business, number 2, MS 535.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the MS 535 basically is the accounting and auditing of the town. This is the DRA fund, DRA worksheet that we are required to accept and submit after auditing. I included it in your packet so that you could review. One thing that I think is important to note, not only obviously was our audit fine, but looking on the very last page, 9 of 9, that's talking about the general fund balance reconciliation sheet. And if you'll notice, even though that the board had approved to offset the tax rate using 1.25 million, that our fund balance is back at the beginning fund equity on the last line is $5,251,317. So we're still back up over 5.2 million, even with paying down the tax rate.
Okay.
Which means that would provide the board with an opportunity this year to possibly do something if they needed to.
To pay down on anything.
The rest of the worksheet shows the properly audited expenditures, actuals, and appropriations. And then you have the second half of it is revenues.
And the local education, the state education.
Yep. Our tax commitments.
I'm missing something here. I don't have that thing in my book.
Keep going, it's further back.
Keep going,
How
you'll
far
find it.
back?
It's after that.
Yeah, it's after the 76 pages provided by the police department.
Went past that,
Keep going,
It's right after that.
keep going.
after the dam.
Oh, no, where'd you get the date? No.
He's got a copy of it right here.
Just in case. Just take.
Oh, you won't miss it?
No, I won't miss it. I got plenty.
It should be right in front of that.
Yeah,
That's where mine is, right in front of that.
it's not.
So this doesn't
No
require
big deal, I
a
guess.
vote on it, this is you need on the signatures.
We will need it.
Yeah, just that.
We'll put, I think there might be one.
That one page. There you go,
That's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
So you got 9 other pages there.
There you go.
All right, Ryan, you can have yours back.
You found it, didn't you?
I thought I went through this whole thing, but I didn't see that.
Disappearing, reappearing paper.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty routine, yeah.
Okay, and this is just, this will be, the governing body will be signing all this. So, we'll be signing a page on this, so, the general consensus is to, we'll be signing.
To accept it.
To accept it.
The official one, original's in your signature folder.
Okay,
Sign later.
okay. All right, thank you. Okay, old business DPW, Roberts Cove Road replacement, project recap. Seth?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I have a small little sheet I'd like to read here and hopefully hit all the high points and
Go
whatnot,
for it.
so. Alrighty. The Roberts Cove Bridge Replacement Project began as scheduled on Monday, July 6, 2026 at 6 a.m. with the closure of Roberts Cove Road. Immediately following the closure, DPW staff removed the existing wooden guardrails, saw cut the asphalt, and assisted MAB and Associates with the demolition and hauling off of materials. Throughout the first week, the old concrete bridge was removed, the new fittings were excavated and poured, and the deteriorated granite bridge deck was removed and retained at the highway barn. During the week of July 13th, a crane was mobilized to set the new precast bridge sections. With assistance from DPW staff, the bridge sections were installed, pinned, mortared, waterproofed, and a new guardrail system was completed. The bridge was then backfilled, fine graded, and approximately 1,650 square feet of asphalt was placed on July 16th. By 8 a.m. the following day, equipment and road closure signs were removed and Roberts Cove Road was reopened to the public. This project was originally scheduled to take 17 working days, or 21 calendar days. Throughout the outstanding teamwork of MAB and Associates and our DPW staff, this project was completed in just 8 working days, or 10 calendar days, allowing the road to be reopened 11 days ahead of schedule. The DPW staff played a significant role throughout the project by hauling materials, installing the new guardrail system, assisting with mortaring bridge joints, and providing general construction support. The original project estimate was $375,000. A single change order of $14,620 was required to account for increased additional material costs since 2023, primarily in the bridge components increases in concrete, bringing the contract total to $389,620. An additional $10,288.67 was spent on gravel, stone, and asphalt, bringing the final project cost to $399,908.67, or $91.33 under the $400,000 authorized budget. I'd like to personally thank MAB and Associates and the dedicated members of our Public Works for their exceptional work on this much-needed infrastructure project. Their professionalism, teamwork, and commitment allowed this bridge to be completed 11 days ahead of schedule and under budget, despite working through heat advisories on some of the hottest days of the summer. The result is a high-quality bridge that will safely serve the residents and visitors of Alton for generations to come and is expected to provide a service life of approximately 100 years or more.
I'd like to thank you guys, thank Mr. Bean. Under budget, under time. I'd like to just reiterate, this is why we went with this guy.
Exactly.
Even though there's, we didn't get 3
Bids.
This is why we went with him, because we know what he can do, we know his quality of work, and everything went perfect like normal, and this is one of the exceptions why
This is why-
the board goes with different contractors like this, so I just wanted to.
No, I did, I went out there
Excellent job.
several times, and I just gotta say, it went smoothly, professionally, did a fabulous job, and with your help and the staff, from the DPW, you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
And I went out there and it was completed, it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
And it was quick, and it was done in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was
Looks
good.
great.
And it was a good experience for the crew too, to do something that's a little bit more different, it's not, we don't build bridges every day, so it was good for them to get a little hands-on experience with something like that,
No, great job.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick question, the original granite bridge,
Yep.
did you say that was retained?
The deck of it.
The deck.
So there was like 6 slabs across the top, just the granite bridge deck. 3 of them were compromised or actually broken, and they were removed more as a safety hazard before they fell into the brook on someone or caused a clog under the bridge. So we did remove the top spans, and we do have the slabs at the highway garage for later use if we can find something cool to do with
There
them.
might be some memorable application
Yeah.
for that down the road. with some
Definitely.
Construction projects.
Yeah, right, that was the hopes, we could find something nice to do with them. I mean, they are 16 feet long, granite slabs,
pretty cool,
so, yeah, they're big.
Fantastic.
All right, yep,
Very
great
good.
job.
Thank you very much for the update, and thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Did I see in one of the picture updates that they left the footings of that bridge are kind of cast into the new cast base?
Yes, so the granite footings were cast into the previous concrete bridges abutments.
Yep.
They stayed there. The hydraulic capacity of that opening was evaluated in the engineered drawings, and the flow is adequate. We haven't had a problem with any kind of backup or anything there, so we were comfortable with leaving them there as they were. The concrete abutments, the wing walls that are still there, those are now not bearing any weight other than a retaining wall essentially holding up the gravel around it. The bridge is sitting on its own footings. There's actually like 3 inches underneath the new bridge to the old abutments. So,
Cool.
yeah, that's cool.
Excellent.
Thanks, Ned.
Thank you very much, Seth.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 4 in old business, Alton Power Dam update.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in your packet, you received some email correspondence. I did, at the board's request, reach out to Fish and Game and New Hampshire DES about the possibility of Alton taking ownership of the Alton Power Dam. As you can see in the replies for right now, first of all, DES responded. They did advise that apparently under RSA 4:40, that in order for them to transfer ownership of the property, that it had to be sold at current market value and would require a current appraisal. They did go on to point out the fact that the town would have to take responsibility even after purchasing it for acquiring a high-hazard dam. And the state, the way I took their response, you would be acquiring a high-hazard dam in poor condition and would be required to bring it into compliance with dam safety standards. And it would require an investment of several $1 million, is what their response was. I did get a follow-up response along the same chain of emails from Fish and Game, who, Fish and Game actually is the owner of the dam. And he basically, this was the gentleman that was here during the presentation, stated that he didn't really have much to add to what DES had already stated. But he did state that he would like to see, or they would like to see what the drawdown looks like in the fall before any further discussion takes place. And how far upstream water levels are impacted may influence what decision Fish and Game will make at the Alton Power Dam.
I might add, they also said just the several $1 million range would also be a $3,000 a year annual dam registration fee.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah.
3 million on
Yeah, and you have the
registration.
3,000 annual dam
Oh,
registration.
3,000, I'm sorry.
3,000.
I thought you said 3
yeah.
million.
No, not 3 million.
I wonder what happens if you have an unregistered dam.
I have no idea. This is not to say that the conversation's dead if the board so chooses. This is just the initial response that we received when I put out, after our last meeting, the, thought that the town of Alton might be interested in taking over ownership and care of the dam. This, of course, was the initial response. The individuals that are responding, I will say, I did CC the executive director and Executive Counselor Kenny along with my emails so that they were part of the conversation. They didn't chime in, but I did make sure they were part of the conversation as well. And when I said the executive director, that's Executive Director Simek from Fish and Game.
From Fish and Game.
Which I have met with her in person in regards to the Downing's Landing issues that we were dealing with
Oh, yeah.
last year, so. So the responses we got were, from at a lower level, and so that conversation can still continue. You know, if the board wishes and how far we want to go. I'm not sure what they'll be willing to do before the drawdown.
Right.
It sounds to me that, I mean, their response is pretty direct, that they want to do the drawdown and they want to see what the effects of the drawdown are before Fish and Game makes any determination what they want to do with the
They
dam.
want to do with the dam itself.
They're making it sound like that if the drawdown is effective enough, that it sounds like they may not have to dismantle it and take it out, and that's what they're trying to determine.
That's just what they want to do.
Yeah, they're trying to determine whether.
So are they liable for our water line if it freezes next winter?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to it. The only reason why I say that, I think there's gonna be some debate as long as they notify us that that's what they're doing. They technically own the property. I don't know if the water line actually runs on property that's owned by the town, or if it's running under the water with the dam. I'm assuming that goes with the property that they own.
Do we have an easement in place?
Well, that's the,
That raises a
I couldn't even begin to answer that, without doing some research with Courtney and the water department to find out if you may be very right that there's an easement in place or
There
something.
could be, and I think we need to investigate that with Courtney.
Sure, certainly.
And look into that to see if there's anything there for that, because that's definitely a major concern. And I'm very concerned with all the abutters. And,
Absolutely.
And the purpose of trying to save the dam was to save all the fish, the turtles, the birds, before they all die when they take away the water. You know, so that was kind of the point of it too.
Right.
But, I guess they're wildlife game, they can do what they want, I guess.
I mean, I can certainly, we can, I mean, obviously, we've never had a conversation like this before, so I don't know, there's no exact protocol as to we go, but I can certainly go back to them again.
Yeah,
And talk to them and see about, maybe I can schedule, a face-to-face meeting. And I can bring Courtney and some of the other department heads in, maybe a few board representatives, see if I can schedule something and see if they're willing to come and talk to us.
Did Councilor Joe Kenny get back to us at all?
I haven't heard anything back since his last communication. But I can certainly reach out to him
I
directly.
think we should
and not
reach
in
out
the
to him,
thread.
because he's actually come out and viewed it, looked at it, and said he would look into it, and haven't heard anything back, and that's been at least 2 months.
So,
If-
Okay.
If we can reach out to him, if we could, please.
Absolutely.
Ryan, do you know, if there is an entity that we deal with or could contract with that would offer an idea of the cost to put the dam in decent shape? I mean, they spit out several $1 million. I don't know if that's just based on anything in particular, or that's a lot of money for
Yeah, it
a
is.
small dam
Sure.
that's holding the water right now. If we hit the worst point where the state simply says, sure, you can have it, but here's all your liability along with it, it would be good to have some idea, or if they say, well, you can have it, but otherwise, we're gonna demolish it. Because I have no idea, but it sounds like a lot of money.
Well, and it sounds like even if they were to allow us to have it, we would have to purchase it at market value.
Right.
But the market value is negative. It's a risk.
I would assume it would.
They owe us money if we buy it, right?
It's damaged goods.
It's damaged goods, right?
Something tells me they're not gonna see it the same way.
Probably
No,
not.
they're not gonna see it that way, and they're gonna want it brought up to standards.
It's gonna be waterfront.
Yeah. They want their cake and eat it too.
The other thing I was thinking, along what you were saying, Dick, and asking, when I reach out to them next, I will ask to see if they'll disclose the dam report that they did.
Yes.
From their engineers, and then what we can talk about doing, if the board so sees it fit, we could take their report and have it reviewed by our contracted engineers.
Yeah.
Because I'm certain that we could probably find somebody either through tie and bond or something that has the structural engineering background for a dam that could, I mean, of course, if the town wanted to, we could pay to have it evaluated on our own dime. But if they have an evaluation that's already completed and we just edit it, or audit it with our engineers, that might
Sure.
be, that might get us where we need to be. To
I think
maybe
that's,
see
I
if
think
they-
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Incidentally, I almost forgot this. I signed up for a webinar on dam repair and maintenance that is on tomorrow evening, and I sent Stacy late today an email asking if she would forward the information on how to sign up for it. I have no idea whether it's a big help or a waste of time, but if I learn anything, it'll be more than I know now about dams.
Okay. All right. Moving on to old business again. Town Hall roof bid, which we discussed last week, and we wanted to have a few things revised, talking about the half-inch plywood and another 100 snow breaks, and possible for the half-inch CDX plywood to be used instead of OSB.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so I did reach back out to the vendor, and I posed all the questions that we took notes on that day. What they came back with, that to confirm that the dumpster and disposal costs are all included in the original bid, that is not an additional cost. If we want to go up from 7/16 plywood to half-inch plywood and another 100 snow breaks, bringing the total to 200 snow breaks around the perimeter of the building, that addition would be $2,500 for both. If we wanted to go from the 7/16 plywood to half-inch CDX, and the additional 100 snow breaks, making the total 200, that addition to the CDX is $7,500.
So, am I not understanding, because half-inch plywood would be CDX, would it
Yes.
not?
Yes.
But there's it's 3 times more
There's
for
half-inch
half-inch
OSB,
CDX.
there's half-inch
OSB,
OSB.
Right.
it's
And there's
OSB
half-inch
versus
CDX.
CDX.
OSB is particle.
Yeah.
But it's not
the
plywood.
Well, it's considered, it's OSB.
It's OSB, right.
Plywood is.
It's an
is-
oriented
is-
stringed board as opposed to
Exactly,
a
exactly.
laminated.
Plywood,
CDX,
half-inch
yes. So
CDX
apologize,
is
maybe.
layers of ply,
Okay.
plies.
Oh, and CDX is weather rated, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yes. They did say to me that the CDX was $40 a sheet. That's where the additional cost came in.
Right.
But
And
it
the-
comes with a lot better quality.
And the only reason that we discussed going from 7/16 to half-inch is because of the warranty on the product being applied for the metal.
Right.
They specified half-inch instead of 7/16.
It might be worth asking the supplier to explore with the manufacturer, given that this is gonna be over an existing, hopefully structurally sound deck, if they would waive their warranty requirement that it be on half-inch and okay the warranty with 7/16. They might very well do that.
Well, like I said before, I mean, I think their intent with that warranty is to apply that over a half-inch or 7/16 that was over just the rafters. We're going over 3/4 inch or 1 inch boarding, existing boarding, and dropping that on top.
Well, it might be worth a question. I also wondered, it would be good if we could get a separate price for the snow blocks, because we thought we were gonna need a lot of them. And we also wanted to find out whether the manufacturer was happy with snow blocks and how they were fastened.
Well, we did talk about adding an additional 100 snow blocks. That'd be a total of 200.
Yeah, we also had quite a discussion about all the ways around this building that needed to be protected, and concluded we might need a lot more. Be better if we just had a separate price per 100 snow blocks, without mixing it up with the plywood, which should be easy enough to do.
Right.
And then, I'll probably drive everybody nuts with this, but We also wanted to make certain that the contractor agreed to follow exactly the manufacturer's installation instructions.
Well, if you looked at their previous jobs they have done, their references,
Yeah,
they've applied this roof in other towns, in other town buildings
Yep.
successfully and did very well with it.
Yep.
Well, we can certainly, that language can certainly be, make sure that that's added into any contractual language. That
couple conditions.
spelling out that the manufacturer's, installation standards would be followed to the letter, and that the vendor would be responsible for that.
Okay, good.
But we can certainly highlight that language.
I personally think at this time, we've gone through this many times, and I think at this point, it's time to pull the trigger and go with it, and put a few other conditions if you'd see it fit to do that. It's a pretty decent product.
Yep.
It's been
appears to be.
proven that it's worked well. I think we're looking into this a lot more than the previous administration did when they put the asphalt shingle roof on here. I think that has failed prematurely. And if they had done more work looking at that like we are with this, I think we wouldn't be here. So I think at this point, I think we're nitpicking at this point. I think if we can put a few conditions on it and go for it. That's my opinion.
Well, I would make a motion that we award the contract for the town hall re-roofing project to Drew's Affordable Steel Roofing in accordance with their quote that was received on some date that I can't find now.
You want it?
Maybe it's because it's not on there anyhow.
Do we want to add the?
You want to add some conditions?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was
Or
gonna
some
say,
suggestions?
with the addition of, the use of, half-inch, CDX sheathing in space of 7/16. And, with, the contractor to follow exactly the manufacturer's instruction, as laid out in the manufacturer's literature. And that additional snow blocks will be provided separately to be determined by the town in terms of the number needed.
For the sum of?
What the sum of? Oh, but you're really making me work here,
Can't do
Jesus.
that. If
It's
we're not doing-
106,469 plus the,
Why?
$7,500 for the CDX.
So just to be clear, Dick, that 7,500 is for the CDX and an additional 100 snow.
Snow blocks, yeah. Another 100 snow
And that
blocks.
just says it at the bottom of this, the sheathing included in this price.
That one doesn't include the half inch, though, the upgrade to the
The
half
up-
inch.
Yeah, it's the
is
upgrade
the
that makes the
75 on
difference.
top of that.
75 on
Yeah.
top of that.
And that mess is my motion.
Would you repeat that? Okay, I'm gonna second that motion. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
the only thing that I think you'd mentioned was we were, a request to get a pricing per 100 additional
Additional
snow
snow blocks.
blocks.
Obviously, we've got some work to do to figure out how many we really need.
Right,
Well-
but I think as a roofing installer, I think we have to weigh their opinion pretty heavily.
Yes. Yeah.
But we
And
definitely need to
spacing,
look at the
and we need to
perimeter
know
of
what the
this building.
spacing would be.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
spacing would be and where it is mostly required, where some areas not as much. And we have other sides that is not as important as it would be in the front or the other side.
Agreed, yep.
Now, I have in the past, I have gone to the roof manufacturers and had them take a look at the slope of the roof, the distance sidewalks, and they will tell you how many you really need.
Yeah, that's probably a
So
good bit.
I would suggest that we amend, or request that we amend the motion to include that we get a manufacturer's report on the recommended quantities and locations of these snow blocks.
And fastening. And fastening, how they,
And fastening,
Fastening.
yes, thank you.
Okay, and you will second that again? Are you seconding that? Who seconded that last time? You did. I did, sorry. I did, didn't I? So I second that again. Any further discussion?
I think we beat it up pretty well.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Did we really get all that?
I'm a no on that, Paul.
you're a no?
Yeah. And
Okay,
I'm only, I'm voting,
and one opposed.
I'm only opposed because I just don't like, even though it was open for bid process, that we didn't get a comparable price on a similar roof. So that's why I have to say no.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Okay, moving on to the Bay Hill Road discussion.
Mr. Chairman, in your packet, you guys will see some minutes from a public hearing that was held on Bay Hill Road. The topic came up because there was some discrepancy between the 6-ton load limit on Bay Hill, speaking only from 28A to 28, the stretch. There's a 6-ton load limit. There is no travel during inclement weather listed. There was several conversations during that public hearing. I also found some discrepancies with the motion that was made, and it contradicts the motion. You'll see it speaks of no through traffic or local traffic only, and then a 6-ton load limit, which are contradictory because local traffic only means no through trucking. Even though it's a different terminology, the signage would be no through trucking. We don't really make a sign for local traffic only. But also going back to the highway regulations, Seth and I had a conversation this afternoon, and the highway regulations that are posted on our website specifically call out no through trucking on the stretch of 28 to 28A in Bay Hill Road. Now, mind you, this public hearing took place after those standards were put in place in 2010. This public hearing, I believe, was 2021. In 2021. But like I said, if you look down at the motion that was made by then Selectman McDonald, right here, it talks about local traffic only, and then a 6-ton load limit
sign.
right afterwards. So I guess it warranted a discussion because it was brought up again for the board to look at it and possibly decide whether or not they want to revisit this, clarify, because the issue that came up is signage, and you know, DPW needs some guidance as to what sign. Right now, it's going to get peppered with signs right now if we don't clarify how we want to go about doing that. And there's a couple of ways that we can go about doing it. I mean, one, first and foremost, if you want, we can schedule another public hearing and talk about it and try to clarify it at a public hearing.
That was one of the reasons to bring this up, to look at this, and if we necessarily need to do that, and we probably do.
Probably, yes. There's enough.
There's enough here to bring it back up to public hearing again. And I brought this up because I've had several people come to me about the traffic coming up and down Bay Hill Road, not only going over the speed limit, going way over the 6-ton load limit, with 18-wheelers coming down and heavy equipment, trucks coming up and down Bay Hill Road. And I even spoke to the chief at one point, mentioned it to him, and when he went out to take a look, lo and behold, an 18-wheeler was trying to come down. So I think it's something that we need to revisit. We have many signs, but not all of the signs are where they should be.
That too.
I think what is happening, in my opinion, at at the top of Bay Hill from 28, if an 18-wheeler or a large truck turns, they don't see the sign until they're already committed to the road. And at that point, they can't back up. They're already committed, they're coming down. The signs need to be further out on 28 that show, and I think, in my opinion, we definitely need the 6-ton limit, but no through trucking needs to be stated, in my opinion. So if we could go to a public hearing and any other input from the other selectmen, we have the 6-ton limit on there. We have closed to inclement weather sign. We also have a couple of blind driveways, which is also a hazard. It's not an easy road.
No, and a lot of the, some of the root of this, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, you know this, but for the public's benefit, when they redid Bay Hill Road, they had to go out into the ditch lines. They took all the signage out, and then not all the signage went back, either in the same location or some of the blind driveway signs residents have complained didn't go back into place. So I definitely agree if the board is willing to go ahead and schedule a public hearing so that we can notice it and properly notice it and have it, you know, it probably won't be next meeting, but the meeting after, if the board's okay with that.
Anybody else? I mean, I see no problem with going to a public hearing on that.
Nope, we'll probably learn something.
I think we should bring it back up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It would be good there, if, particularly the police, if they have information on,
Yes.
you know, number of arrests, number of accidents, and so on, and of course also comments from the highway department on their experience.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you. Okay, Hidden Springs update. Okay, this board has consulted legal counsel and our contract engineers firm, Ty and Bond, regarding the situation on Hidden Springs Road. Based on the information and a lot of discussion, we have decided to proceed with the completion of the project as bid and awarded. At this time, we have not paid any money for the work or anything that has been done at this point. The contractor has agreed to continue as outlined in his bid, specs to stump, grind, and stabilize only the 11 acres covered under the alteration of terrain permit. We feel it is important to finish the scope of work before jumping to any conclusion as to what further might need to be done or addressed. By proceeding and working with the contractor, the town has not fortified its right to address any discrepancies on the site identified once we can fully assess the site conditions. Ty and Bond is finalizing a stormwater pollution prevention plan and has indicated they plan with the submitted by the end of the day today. Once submitted, it will be eligible for a 14-day review period by state and federal agencies. If no further action is requested, we will be cleared to proceed. Ty and Bond is also scheduled to delineate the 11 acres limits of work for grubbing tomorrow, July 28th, using sub-meter accuracy GPS equipment to field locate and mark the approved boundaries. Following the review period, and once authorization is received to proceed, the contractor will be notified to begin work. At that time, Ty and Bond staff will conduct site visits and at least weekly, and after any rain event exceeding 0.5 inches, to complete written reports stamped by the engineer and submitted to DES as required under condition number 5 of the AOT. And that's the current report for the Hidden Springs project. If there's anything you would like to add, or?
I got a question.
Sure.
Who's paying for Ty and Bond?
Ty and Bond's that's part of their existing contract right now. The construction overseeing and, what is it, swap plan? Swap. SWIP. And their construction oversight is part of their original contract. We haven't incurred anything additional.
Right, but wouldn't that be drawn against funds already paid to them? I mean, they're not doing it for free, you know. Somehow they're getting paid to do all of this. And my question is, and I know the answer, it's a rhetorical question, but who's paying for it? The town is ultimately paying for all of this service for Ty and Bond, filing a SWIP plan, and then doing all the monitoring and the subsequent filings because a vendor made a mistake.
No, the SWIP, and that is a state requirement, has nothing to do with the cutting, it has to do with the level of disturbance. So the AOT and the stormwater management plan and the construction oversight is a state regulation that Ty and Bond contracted to do to begin with. It has nothing to do with the cut, and, or anything to do with, so we have not incurred, the town has not incurred any additional cost outside the contract amount because the work is, this isn't work because of that.
So the SWIP that Ty and Bond is working on,
Yes.
stormwater
Management plan.
is
Stormwater pollution prevention.
is only on the 11 acres. They're not looking at the other overcut acreage at all.
No, well, they did go out and look at that ahead of time at our request, after the cut, but the only reason they're only localized to the 11 acres because the stormwater management is once it's disturbed. They don't consider the rest of the lot as disturbance because no stumping has occurred or will occur.
So
as a result
just
of
to,
that.
I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear on this. That
Sure.
The Ty and Bond's efforts from this point forward are focused only on the 11 acres.
That's correct.
Has absolutely nothing to do with the overcut that was done and determining runoff and drainage and concerns up there. They're not looking at any of that. We're walking away from that overcut area, leaving as is. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, well, not exactly, because we had Ty and Bond go out and assess and provide you with a written report of the stabilization of the whole lot after the cut. We had them do that. Once their wetlands experts determined that things were stable and that the best management practices for that overcut area, there's a component at the end of this that was recommended that UNH be contacted to go out and provide a opinion for the town and the board to consider. I think that was a suggestion of conservation.
Yes.
So that they went out and talked about the best management practices for reforesting the area and tending to the area that hasn't been disturbed. But the point behind Ty and Bond's report and when they went out there is that we shouldn't be touching anything out there until we have a deliberative method to reforest it or whatnot, because the fact that there's no stumps plucked and that the topsoil hasn't been disturbed and nothing's been grubbed is, we should leave it that way for right now, because that's what provides the most stabilization. But really, the point of the update, one, was to update everybody that had been asking about it, but two, was the fact that the town isn't forfeited anything by moving forward. It was recommended that we complete the work because it's kind of hard to understand what the site looks like with all that brush piled up. The stumps, it needs to be cleaned.
11 acres.
It needs to be cleaned, and that's the point, is to get it to a clean canvas, get the 11 acres identified, get they're gonna put a snow fence out so that nobody's going beyond the snow fence. But all that stuff is going to be ground into erosion mix, and then, so you wanna come up anyway, Seth? I'm doing a lot of talking.
Seth, come on up. Yeah.
Seth's the
I'm
point.
sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
suggest it.
No.
Come on up, Seth.
Now,
Thank you.
when they complete the contract, they're gonna expect to get paid. Are we gonna be withholding some retainage?
At that point, it's the board's decision to, because I think the point is that for the board to be able to assess at that point, and whether you want, you know, UNH out there, Ty and Bond, whoever it is, that the board needs to, it was just trying to get to a better place to understand where we're gonna be left. Because if we do it now, you're gonna end up with all those piles there and walk away, and then we don't know, we're just gonna be fighting about it and trying to figure out what was,
Yeah.
where to go.
Seth, can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so Ty and Bond did go out and evaluate the whole site, as Ryan had mentioned, and their recommendation was the areas of overcut, they didn't have a recommendation to leave it as is, it will reforest on its own. And yeah, the brush and the stuff that is still out there will actually help with erosion. The SWIP, the SWPPP, is actually a condition of the AOT, Stormwater Prevention Pollution Prevention Plan.
Yes, prevention plan.
So in that outlines having the wetlands individual come out weekly, view the site after any rain events, just to make sure that nothing is happening during that time frame. Again, that's a condition of the AOT. That's why it's written in there. Condition number 5 is to have that done weekly or after rain events. And that is only pertaining to the 11-acre area, because the uncut, the areas that are cut but not stumped are not considered disturbed. So there's no, it's not a disturbance.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the update and for the update project itself from Ty and Bond. Okay.
And we will keep bringing back progress to the board. Like I said, it's a
Ongoing
continuing
process.
situation. Nobody's walking away from anything. We're just trying to get to a better position to actually evaluate.
Evaluate
the
and
final.
and begin to start the process of cleaning it
And,
up.
and I think maybe given this situation, it might not be a bad idea to do a site walk with the board
Right.
when we get to that point.
But I would like that,
And even do a public, you know, it's a public meeting, a public site walk.
do a public site walk.
Actually go out there and look at it firsthand.
Absolutely.
It's put together as a phased plan as far as for the AOT. So this is, the clearing of the 11 acres and restabilizing it really is just the first step. Other than that, we can
Right.
coast, but there is kind of a time frame in which we have to work in to get the site restabilized once it's
Absolutely.
so.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Seth.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay. Mount Washington dock update.
Well, I'm pleased to report that there was pilings put back in, and I think I heard that the Mount Washington returned to the bay. So,
I saw it this weekend.
yeah. That was an easy update.
I don't
Back.
I don't think anybody was on it at the time, or anybody getting on and off, I should say. But they came in to make sure that everything was okay and they could tie up good. So, yeah, it looked like, we're online again with the, Mount Washington, so.
Do we have any contact from the company that operates the mount on when they will resume daily or weekly trips?
They have not
didn't respond back
contacted
to us, yeah. We reached out. They have not communicated.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we'll keep trying to, if we get any information on updated schedules and, you know, whether or not it's gonna be on a regular rotation again,
I
or
think
if they're just doing some test runs right now, we'll keep trying to poke for some more information.
Yeah.
But at least we saw some visible progress, so.
I saw it, I physically saw it Sunday.
Yep.
So, and it was right in the bay, so, if I had a chance, I would've gone down there and tried to talk to him. All right, town administrator report.
I just have a couple of things for you, gentlemen. First and foremost, I need to see if I can get the board's support. I got an email from Leslie Renthal, who does, she does for the PD and FD softball game during Old Home Weekend. They do the cooking and the food preparation for that, and she purchases all the food. And she was wondering if the board would authorize a reimbursement not to exceed $200 for the food, condiments, and stuff that are served, and donations are received at the police fire softball game, that would be coming from the Old Home Week, committee fund. It's a fund that, currently has approximately $5,337.27.
What was that amount again, please?
$5,337.27. And she would like the board's okay to receive a reimbursement not to exceed $200 for those foods and goods. She would pre-purchase everything and then submit her receipts
Okay.
for reimbursement.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to allow Leslie Rentow to get reimbursed for the $200 for the food for the Old Home Day Police and Fire baseball game from the Old Home Day account, which has $5,337.27.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. The last thing I have for you is just a quick discussion on meeting dates we have a meeting scheduled for August 25th. I'll be on vacation out of town on the last week of August. Not to say you can't hold a meeting without me, not to say that I can't find somebody to sit in. But in light of that, looking at the schedule and how the dates come together, if we push it up, it's only 8 days from the last meeting. Chances are in the month of August, we're not gonna be fast rolling because September starts the budget preparations. So it would be a good opportunity if the board so choose to take a break, a one-meeting break. That wouldn't be a bad time to do that, given the time frame. Or we can look to reschedule it.
And that would be the August 25th?
It would be the August 25th meeting.
How's the board feel? Would you rather still have the meeting, or you want to take a break?
That week will be maybe gone too, so.
You're gonna be gone too?
It's not just me.
So it's not a set, it's not set yet, but, so that wouldn't, so if we didn't have one, that would work for me.
That would work better for you.
But,
So the next meeting is Tuesday, September 8th, the day after Labor Day?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how holidays work here.
That's fine.
But make sure that's not a conflict.
There's no conflict with that meeting, right? The 8th? No.
Okay, and then,
I had to check with the big boss.
then you'd mentioned about the public hearing, so would that then be the date of the public hearing, would be September 8th?
For Bay Hill Road.
For Bay Hill Road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
given the posting timeframe, the amount of time we
I'd
need.
be better off.
It would have to be.
So for some reason, my phone, I have September 9th for a selectmen's meeting. Did we ever move?
Tuesday, is it Tuesday the 9th? Or is it Tuesday? the
Tuesday,
8th?
September 8th.
Yeah, but for some reason, I have the 9th. Maybe I put it on the wrong day before.
Wrong day, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, we have a primary, don't we?
Oh, the
Oh, the primaries, you're right, the primaries.
on the ball.
Primaries.
So we should cancel the primary then.
Yeah, you cancel the primary.
Yeah, we'll just cancel that instead. yeah.
So I
All
think
right,
we're
so
on
we,
the 9th.
so we are on the 9th.
We're on
We're
September-
already scheduled to September 9th.
What would you guys do without me?
There you go.
Yes. That's the one with the
fine.
for accepting funds. We do have a public hearing at the next meeting that's scheduled. That's just the acceptance of those funds from the interlocal trust.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll tentatively, I'll keep things for September 9th.
Okay.
Should something time-sensitive arise or something push,
Yep.
I will contact the board and find out if you want to schedule a meeting.
If we schedule, we could have Laura.
Yeah, no, if we
Just have
need
Laura
something,
come in
I'll have
and-
Laura
and-
step,
okay. All right.
sit in. Yep,
Very good.
all right, thank you, that's all I
Are
have.
we canceling the 25th meeting?
Yes,
Yes,
right now,
yes.
yes.
Yes, we are.
Do we need to vote on that, or are we okay just to say it?
We're good with the consensus.
I think a consensus is all right, yeah. All right, selectmen reports, Jack.
Nothing significant, just a couple of simple lot line adjustments, and then there was, a exception granted to allow, someone to operate a bed and breakfast and a small, like, artsy retail store on their home on, I think it was Hayes Road.
On Hayes Road, yep.
House built in 1740, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's pretty much it, though.
Okay. Dick?
Oh, a couple of short-term rentals approvals. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, we're all set to roll with milfoil, everything is in place. I think we'll have a good year with costs under control. I got a notice from our new town planner. He's organizing the zoning board of appeal amendments group. As every year, we have some amendments because the state keeps changing the laws. And I was glad to see that, because obviously he's hitting the ground running. And most important, I got an email from a resident bubbling over about the fact that stickers at the recycling center were being checked by a young gentleman named Dale, whose last name I don't have, but I must express my appreciation to Dale. And I think that exercise is going to pay big dividends in terms of avoiding stuff that's not coming from Alton, or avoiding people who didn't pay for their stickers.
Okay, Andy?
Nothing much on the front right now, but we got the schedule out. I do not have the first date. I deleted it on accident, so I gotta contact them, but it's gonna start in August. So then we have that going on.
Okay.
Conservation met, not a whole lot of really exciting stuff. Some good catches from the commission, though, on some of the applications and typos. But water testing is ongoing, which is very important. And the social media, anybody who's on Facebook and been checking that, seeing that Tara's been doing an amazing job of keeping that active and alive. And also been out doing, they've been out doing trail assessments, and so.
Very good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Excellent. Okay, what I've got is going to elaborate a little bit on what Richard was saying. We received a letter from Mr. Underhill, and he says, "I am writing to thank the Selectmen and the Department of Public Works for beginning enforcement of a displayed sticker for use of the town transfer station. Please keep it up. Also, I would like to compliment Dale, a station attendant who monitored the vehicles entering the station on Sunday, July 26th. Dale professionally and courteously managed the people who did not have stickers. Your action shows Alton residents a commitment to watch expenses and fairly generate revenue." I witnessed it myself, and I'm glad to see these actions taken effect, and with the stickers and checking out, and it was a successful weekend. Thank you very much for Seth and the crew for getting this moving forward, and hopefully soon we could have some vouchers for short-term rentals as well. Thank you very much. 140. You want to come up and and tell them that, yeah, it was 140 sold that day. That's amazing.
A little cheat sheet in here somewhere. So yeah, on that Sunday there, they conducted a little enforcement campaign, and Dale was down in the driveway, stopping all vehicles that came up and managing traffic flow through the facility. They sold 140 stickers that one day. To date, since we've been tracking them with the new stickers with the permit number on there, we're at somewhere around 1,149 transactions. I say somewhere around because some from the town clerk's office sometimes takes a while to get entered in, so that number's likely a little higher than that. And since March, barring the additions from town clerk's office, we're at $20,860 from stickers.
Very good. Thank you.
They're gonna be conducting more checkpoints like that, and
Yeah, and that's very important.
yeah.
Could you also just elaborate for everyone the meaning of the stickers for each family, and how many stickers? It's one sticker per household.
It's actually two
two
in the
stickers
policy,
per-
it's 2 stickers per household,
Right.
yeah.
Is there any suggestions other than putting it on the right side of the windshield, or actually having a laminated version of it so they can use it from 2 different vehicles? Or what do you think?
Yeah, having it on a transferable piece of like plexiglass or something like that, to me can be a slippery slope, because then
Yeah,
it starts to
okay.
being
Okay.
between people. Oh, my father needs to go to the dump here, take my sticker type of situation. I understand that there might be more than 2 vehicles in a household that may end up going to the facility. We have sold households more than 2.
Than one?
Yeah, so, if you need more, we've been allowing more, but we do ask that they be affixed to the vehicle, that way.
Okay.
We can account for it
Rightfully
for
so.
them, right.
Just trying to clarify, if someone has more than one vehicle, and they have 2 trucks per se, then they may use them back and forth, and there's only one sticker. That's,
Yeah.
okay. All right,
All righty.
thank you.
Thanks, Seth.
Would it be something to consider in the future to dictate that they have to be windshield mounted, but provide people with multiple vehicles registered in town the ability to get as many stickers as vehicles they have when they come for the sticker with their registrations at one price for their vehicles for the household? The stickers, I'm imagining, are not terribly expensive, so there will be slightly less generated from that $20 transaction, but each sticker is affixed to a vehicle. They have to be in that spot. No more of the, I have my sticker in my pocket or my sticker on a plastic board that I can transfer to someone else's vehicle.
Right.
I just think it may be a better way to go, where we'll allow you, if you own 5 vehicles, to have 5 stickers, but they have to be mounted to the vehicle.
All right, it's something to consider. Thank you. All right, that's all I have for selectmen reports. Approval of the minutes, June 23rd, 2026, non-public.
Go ahead and unseal all of them.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the non-public minutes for June 23rd, 2026, and releasing 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Minutes for July 14th, 2026, non-public.
Then you threw them unsealed.
Okay.
Keep it one.
I'll make a motion for the July 14th, 2026, non-public session, to approve the minutes and to keep sealed, number 1.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And last but not least, July 14th, 2026, public session.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 14, 2026 public session meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Approval of the consent agenda.
Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda dated July 28th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no appointment requests?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Public input, 5 minutes on anything for town or government.
Evening, gentlemen. I'm here as moderator. You mentioned the primary on September 8th, where we'll need all your attendance. We also will be counting ballots and testing the tabulator on September 2nd, 9 a.m. in this room. Would really like to have 1 or 2 of you there for that. if we may.
Thank you very much.
September 2nd at 9 AM?
Okay? 9 AM. Anyone else?
I'm sorry, I missed, is this public input number 2?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Come on up.
My name is Anthony Burns, and I would like to address the earlier issue with the Blueberry Lane temporary rack. I just wanted to bring to the board's attention that there are 3 deeded accesses to the Hills Pond, one within several hundred yards of the Blueberry property. So there is access there to the community, to Alton Shores community. So, given that, I believe that this access area would be more to people outside of Alton Shores, and that would go back to the issue with parking and with trash and things like that. People who live within the community appreciate those 3 properties that we have on Hills Pond that gives them access to the water. Each of those, quote, beaches they refer to as, even though one of them is a boat launch, are policed by the community themselves. So we do a good job of cleaning the beaches, keeping and maintaining the beaches. But this separate property, in my view, given that there are already 3 accesses to the pond, would be predominantly for people outside of Alton Shores. And that would mean that people are bringing a vehicle there. That would mean people need to park a vehicle somewhere there. So I just wanted to make that as a clarification to make sure that that's appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Richard Finnerty.
Good evening.
How are you guys? Good evening. Haven't been here for a little while. Nothing major. Just a few questions on the meeting. The DPW on the Roberts Cove Bridge, did their bid come in expecting to use DPW labor? Was that in the bid? Okay. Didn't know. Number 2. Does the town of Alton have water rights to the Mirror-Meeting River for their public water supply? Do we have legal water rights to it? Or water leases, or such as a farm would have to irrigate a thing? Or are we just at the will of the state?
Don't know.
In other words, if they drop, when they do a drawdown, where's it gonna put the water level for the well that's at the fire station? And are we gonna be out of a well? And are they gonna be liable for that, or do we have a lease on that? Or do we have a right to it through using it so long, or for whatever reasons? That's probably something that should be looked into by the water department, or at least an answer for it. Okay, 3. The roof, town hall roof. Who's gonna be overlooking this project? We have town officials at the building department. Are they gonna make sure that they adhere to the manufacturer's thing, so we don't have to, if something goes wrong, it's not gonna be a blame game? I've run into this with roofing before, between plywood companies, roofing companies, contractors, suppliers, the whole bit, and it's a pass the buck game. Do we have a warranty that isn't gonna be passed along and argued about like we have here? We are?
Yep.
And who is it?
The building inspector would make
So it's
sure
the building
that's done.
inspector's fault? No, I wanna know who's
his fault?
who's answering to the warranty?
That was part of the conditions of their approval, was that was added into the contract, that the vendor, that the contractor, the installer, is ultimately responsible
Yes.
for the manufacturer's
I thought-
warranty based on installation standards.
I thought you were asking who was gonna foresee it and look at it. and
Well,
look at
it
things
was a
once-
two-part question.
They're gonna
You
be
weren't-
doing that as they go along.
Themselves.
Correct.
Sounds big, okay. Enforces warranty, Bay Hill Road. I did have a thing on that. The weight limit's ridiculous. You can't get a refrigerator delivered to your house because the truck that deliver it is a 23,000-pound truck. You can't get your septic tank pumped because it's a 23,000-pound truck. If you put a weight on it, if you put no through trucking, you can have all that stuff. So the weight limit's kind of ridiculous. But the through trucking thing would probably work. Just my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Because they can come up, they can pump your tank, and they can leave. They're not through trucking. Right? So that would be anybody servicing their oil trucks, what have you. But those are all over 6,000 pounds. So anybody going up there can get bagged for whatever.
September 9th, public hearing.
Be here.
Bring that.
Bring it.
You guys know it. Now, okay, then, of course I gotta comment on everything, right? Ty and Bond, were they the original overseers of that job up on Hidden Springs? Were they contracted to do that?
No, they weren't.
Oh, you mean, no, they were the original contracted permittees, like, to do the permitting, the engineering and stuff.
Not to go out and survey or
But to
anything
oversee the
before they cut
were they there to oversee the project? I was kinda led to believe that they're there to oversee the project at this point.
This point.
At this point, so that was at a later date after the overcut and all the rest of that stuff. And the other question I have is, why don't we just leave it alone?
Say it again?
Why don't we just leave it alone? The overcut's gonna take care of itself. It hasn't been disturbed at this point. What's been cut already can take care of itself. Why are we gonna spend any money on it? Or are there underlying factors to this cut?
It needs to be finished.
Why does it need to be
Well,
finished?
I don't believe there's anything being done to the overcut, right? It's just the 11 acres for.
Right, and that's gonna be fine,
Yeah.
right?
So the overcut
So why-
stuff, I don't think they're doing anything with.
So what are the underlying reasons we had to cut that in the first place?
The
There
DPW
was-
building.
That was voted on by, or this was just a whim thing,
No, it was back in
an idea?
2021.
2021.
So it was voted on? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
2021, voted on at the town, like the town warrant article? Or by the selectmen?
No, it was Board of Selectmen. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a warrant article.
It was Board of Selectmen. Yeah, allocated.
Do you know what month, any idea what month it might have been?
Not off the top of my head, but.
Okay,
I
I'll just
can't
request,
remember.
I'll just request the
I do
record.
remember
Yeah.
it's 2021.
Okay.
Somewhere between January and December.
In 2021.
Gotcha, request the record. Okay,
Thank you.
that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Mount Washington thing, awesome. About time.
Good afternoon, good evening, gentlemen. Kelly Sullivan. So Hidden Springs, we had a 10-acre overcut, and we are choosing not to hold anybody accountable. They got the wood, they destroyed habitat, they're still continuing to get the job and finish it. And we're just gonna leave it to grow back, which is all well and good, is what we need to do at this point. But the fact that 10 acres were overcut, and we are holding nobody accountable right now, and they got all of that wood, at how much wood? This seems a little unreasonable to me. Why are we not holding anybody accountable?
Need to get it done.
Okay, so we had put out the RPF, we got 3 bids, we went with the low bidder, this is what it got us. And now there are 2 other people that bid that we could certainly go with, that did not overcut 10 acres. So again, why are we not holding the person that did the job incorrectly accountable? 10 acres, okay, is not a half an acre. It's not a couple of acres. It's even more than a few. It's 10 acres, Okay, that's not an accident. Clearly not an accident, okay? And we're not holding anybody accountable. We're gonna continue the job. You're right, the 11 acres that was supposed to be cut needs to be finished. But we're not holding anybody accountable for a 10-acre overcut on town property.
I think if I understood the position correctly, we still reserve all of the rights as far as pursuing an award or
I heard
correction
that.
or repair. It was
Right,
just they were trying to
this is a clear
divide-
cut of just some acreage, and unless we have some crazy erosion, there's really nothing to worry about essentially, except the laws of habitat and the delineation that those 10 acres should never have been cut. Again, we're not talking about an acre or two, we're talking about 10, all right? 10 acres. If your company went in and clear cut 10 additional acres, what would happen?
But we're not really supposed to talk back. This is a hearing, but.
Okay.
This is public input, so-
But I will say,
And I've said that to Rick.
we've screwed up. So we're held accountable. And the reason why the same guy is doing the work is because that he took off money for the lumber in the regular contract to finish the job. So if we don't get him, we pay extra. Am I correct?
And yes, you are
So-
correct. You are, and at this point, we haven't paid, any monies have been transacted at all at this point.
The price was lower because he was taking the timber, I get that. Not on 10 additional acres. He was contracted for 11 acres.
No, he was contracted for 28.5, and he cut 22. The bid went out for 28.5. I think that's where.
Okay,
it
so
was
that
getting
is what
lost.
happened, because, I mean, I sat at all of these meetings when this was discussed, and we, as in the town, took that 28 acres back and said we were gonna do less than that. But somehow that RPF was not amended to the correct amount? Is that what you're saying?
It never was never rebid. The amount was changed when the bid was awarded.
Okay,
And
I
it's-
sat at a
it's not to
meeting,
get into the back
and it
and
was
forth,
tw-
it's
and
just understanding the fact
I
that you
understand.
keep saying that it
I'm
was
trying
bid
to
for
understand
11.
better because I sat at the meetings when we discussed 20-some-odd acres, and it wasn't necessary to cut 20-some-odd acres, even with our developer hat on, because we're not developers, we're the town, just needing some space for the DPW. And we were supposed to amend the RPF down from 20-some-odd acres. That was discussed at the secondary meeting. So I'll just do a right to know, because that should have been amended. And it will be in the, yes, because they're an overcut of 10 acres.
There's overcut, yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty big oversight.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's a huge oversight.
Thank you, Kelly.
I did look at the pictures of the DPW Robert Cove Road job. That came out excellently. Good job to Seth and his team. It was a job well done.
Yes, it was. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, this is input, so it's supposed to be input, not questions and answers. But thank you. We sometimes let it go a little bit too much. I mean, it's public input is what it is. Okay, thank you. All right. I make a motion to enter into non-public meeting per RSA 91-A:3(2). Road call, Jack.
Jack Sleeper, yes.
Boucher, yes?
Oh, Drew seconded.
I seconded that.
Thank you. All right, sorry.
Clearing
I
my
do that.
throat, I'm sorry.
Jack.
Jack, yes.
Dick, yes?
Andrew Morse, yes.
Drew, yes.
Paul,